Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story in which OP's once thriving career turns into a power play for survival thanks to one nightmare boss. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. New boss destroys everything for everyone. I worked at a tech company for almost 7 years, my first job out of college. It was a great company with massive growth, benefits, and most importantly, an incredible boss. He supported the team, avoided micromanaging, and ensured we got generous raises and promotions. We worked remotely during COVID, and I moved back to my hometown after the boss let me switch to a fully remote contract without a pay cut. It was such a great environment that the lowest tenure on our 16-person team was 3.5 years. My job eventually evolved into working on specialized, complex projects with a sub-team of 4, handling critical tasks that could cost the company millions if mishandled. Our boss let us run this part of the business autonomously. Things started to change about 2 years ago when the boss's boss got promoted and a new VP was hired. The new VP, however, tried to change everything with pointless metrics, measuring project completion without accounting for their complexity. Our boss pushed back as much as possible, but after months of getting hammered by the VP's demands, he left. The team was devastated, and we hoped the most tenured team member would be promoted to replace him. Instead, the VP hired someone from his previous company, who I'll call B-Boss, and she wrecked the team from day one. She micromanaged, ignored our suggestions, and tanked morale. Our performance plummeted, and within 2 months, B-Boss targeted our sub-team, micromanaging projects she didn't understand and focusing on meaningless metrics. B-Boss threatened to put us on performance improvement plans, PIPs, if we didn't meet her absurd expectations, so we retaliated. We focused entirely on simple projects to hit the numbers, leaving the complex, critical work sitting in the queue. This caused chaos, with salespeople freaking out about delayed projects and their commission checks being jeopardized. We made sure everyone knew it was B-Boss's decision to focus on the metrics, forcing her to address the fallout. After a meeting with the VP and senior VP, SVP, the SVP sided with us, saying we weren't to be measured by metrics and could return to handling complex work without fear of PIPs. But by this time, 2 team members had already quit and morale was at rock bottom. Around this time, I was preparing for my wedding and honeymoon, which my old boss had approved before leaving. B-Boss decided to cancel my leave, claiming the team was too far behind. I told her flat out that I was taking the leave regardless, and if she didn't like it, she could lose me permanently. She ranted and threatened, but I left the Zoom call, then emailed her, the VP, and the SVP, officially resigning due to her disrespect. The email thread blew up with complaints about B-Boss, and the SVP reached out asking me to reconsider. He offered me a $3,000 wedding bonus, guaranteed PTO, and promised that B-Boss would leave me alone upon my return. I accepted and went on my wedding and honeymoon, but while I was gone, another key member of the sub-team quit, leaving the team even more overwhelmed. When I returned, it was complete chaos. Salespeople were bombarding me about delayed complex projects. I worked through them in order of priority, but stuck to regular hours, refusing to overextend myself. Meanwhile, the new hires were making costly mistakes, and the team was falling apart. At bonus and raise time, B-Boss gave me the lowest possible bonus and no raise, blaming me for issues caused by her mismanagement. I cut my output to the bare minimum and only worked to collect my bonus. When B-Boss tried to call me out on a group meeting, I publicly stated that she gave me 0% raise, so she was getting 0% effort in return. VP tried to intervene, even threatening to fire me, but I called his bluff. He thought I'd been training new hires to handle the complex projects, but when he realized I hadn't, his tone changed completely. I demanded a 25% raise and a 150% bonus on my new salary, or I'd leave immediately. After some back and forth, I quit on the spot, knowing they needed me more than I needed them. After a few weeks, I got a job offer from another company. While it wasn't as great as my old one with my original boss, it was better than dealing with B-Boss and the VP. My former boss reached out recently, hinting at an opening in his new company, which I'm hoping to land. From what I hear, my old team is in shambles. The company's losing millions due to the lack of knowledge, and B-Boss is on the verge of getting fired. Everyone left is trying to leave, and the mess they created continues to unravel. Another confirmation of that old saying, people don't quit bad jobs, they quit bad bosses. If it isn't an old saying, it should be. And our second story. The 1-pound toy incident. This happened a little while ago, but still makes me laugh a little. I was on the till for one of my shifts, the end till closest to the exit. Just before the exit was one of those toy dispensers, the sort where you put a coin in, turn it, and you get a cheap piece of poorly colored plastic that half resembles a character from some kid's show. I've seen a lot of kids pester their parents or guardians for a 1-pound coin for the thing. Some give in, others don't. This story's about one who didn't. I was serving an older guy, perhaps late 50s, early 60s, who was out shopping with his young grandson around 4. He was nice enough, polite, and friendly, as too was the grandson when asking for a pound coin for the toy machine. To the kid's credit, at first he started asking very nicely, "Granddad, could I please have 1 pound for a toy?" The way the kid said it showed good manners. The granddad then told him no, in an equally well-mannered and nice tone. It was kind of refreshing to see all around, to be honest. Unfortunately, though, that's not where it ended. The child kept asking for a pound coin from his granddad, the request getting less mannered each time, but not quite reaching the tantrum zone yet. Granddad stuck firm on his response. He didn't lose his cool or his manners, merely got slightly more firm in his response. The kid didn't like this and did something neither of us were expecting. He gave his granddad a death stare while his back was turned and then ran straight out of the store, full speed. It'd be bad enough for the kid to run away, but the fact that the store I worked at the time was on a very busy road, the kid could be out the door and into traffic in a matter of seconds. The granddad didn't notice as he had his back turned to the kid at this point, but I quickly pointed out the fleeing child to him as he left the building. Panicked, the granddad tried to hand me his wallet, saying, "Crap, right, I'll be right back. I'll pay for the shopping. Take this and..." I tell him to just go get the child. I honestly don't care about the shopping. Quick as he can manage, he runs out of the building. I'm standing at the side of my till at this point so that I can see out the exit. I can see the granddad looking around the busy car park, but I can't see the kid, and it's clear he can't either. It was at this point I was seriously expecting someone in the queue to start whining about having to wait and demanding to be served, but unbelievably no one did. Everyone seemed to just be focused on what was happening. After a tense 20 seconds or so, I heard a little voice besides me, "Where's Granddad?" I looked down to see the kid had somehow made his way back into the store. I quickly grabbed the hood on the child's coat and tell him, "Don't move." With one hand holding the kid's hood, I start waving in large gestures to the granddad outside. He quickly notices me and re-enters the store, red in the face and almost breathless. He sees his grandson, who I still haven't let go of at this point. The granddad walks up to the kid, a mixture of exhaustion, anger, and relief all playing across his face at once. He stands there, catching his breath as he stares his grandson dead in the eyes. I let go of the hood at this point as the kid stares back at his granddad. Neither speaks for a full 10 seconds. The kid's the first to break the silence. "Can I have a 1 pound, Granddad?" The level of restraint that man showed in that moment was godly. He just paid for his shopping, got his grandson by the arm, and took him out of the store. As they passed the toy machine, the child quickly realized he wasn't getting a toy and went full tantrum. I didn't hear his crying long, as the granddad didn't even slow his pace one bit as he dragged that kid out of the store. Kid: "I am getting this toy. Check this out." Granddad: "I have seen hell. You will get no toy." And our last story. I'll use your pool and call the police on you. Whatever you say, Karen. About 6 months ago, I bought what I consider my dream home. It's got a perfect blend of privacy and city convenience, complete with a massive 4-car garage, ideal for someone like me who's into cars. The backyard, beautifully renovated with a patio and a pool. But to be honest, the pool is more of a burden than a blessing. My family prefers spending time at our beach house, so this pool was destined to collect more dust than swim laps. I even started thinking about removing it and using the space for something more practical. Not long after moving in, I noticed some odd signs of activity around the pool, like it had been used recently. Since I wasn't ready for uninvited guests, I threw the winter cover over it, hoping that would put an end to the mystery. Well, a week or so later, a woman named Ashley knocked on my door. She introduced herself as a neighbor and explained that she and her son had an arrangement with the old owners. They were allowed to use the pool whenever they wanted. Ashley then asked if I could continue that tradition because her son really enjoyed it, and apparently it had become a critical part of his routine. Now, I'm all for being neighborly, but something about this setup didn't sit right with me. There's no way I wanted to be liable for someone else's kid swimming in my pool while I wasn't even home. Plus, it's not like I was using it myself, so paying to maintain it for someone else's benefit? Not happening. I told Ashley I'd think it over, but I already knew what my decision would be. I wasn't going to allow this. I locked the gate, figuring that was the end of it. But Ashley had other plans. A few days later, I was working from home when I spotted her and her son sneaking into my backyard. They were clearly about to use the pool, even though I had made it clear that I didn't give them permission. I went out to confront them and told Ashley in no uncertain terms that this wasn't going to fly. That's when she flipped. Like a full-on Karen meltdown, she started shouting that I had no right to stop them and even threatened to call the police on me. The nerve. Here she was trespassing on my property, using my pool without consent, and then trying to act like I was the one in the wrong. I locked the gate again and made sure she knew I wasn't playing around. After a few more confrontations and a lot of frustration on my end, I finally decided to take the ultimate step. If they thought they could just keep sneaking into my yard, there would be no more pool for them to sneak into. I hired someone to come out and drain the pool completely. The best part? Once the pool was drained, I went ahead and removed it entirely. I filled in the area and built a gazebo on top of the space. It's now a perfect outdoor area for barbecues and get-togethers. Way more useful than that headache of a pool. Ashley and her son haven't heard a peep from them since. I guess they realized the days of free swimming were over for good. Feels great to finally put an end to the drama. No more trespassing, no more entitled neighbors, and I got to repurpose the yard in a way that works for me. That's what I call a win. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.